What is going on, people? Joey Talks Boxing, Canelo, Crawford, fight, recap. Now, in the pre-fight, I said Canelo would win because of his size, and I didn't think Crawford could handle the body shots and the power of Canelo. I'm glad to say I was completely wrong on that. Crawford looked very physically strong, looked sharp. I knew he was going to have the speed advantage, particularly with the hand speed and especially with the foot speed, but I was surprised at how sturdy Crawford was at that weight. Canelo's legs are gone. He never had great legs, but now they're really gone. Those knee surgeries have kind of taken their toll. And yeah, I think that he's not the same fighter anymore, but we cannot take away any credit from Terence Crawford now. In the first round of the fight, I was more like a fill-out round. I gave it to Canelo. I don't know how the judge on TV, on the Netflix, Skipper, whoever that is, I don't know how he had that to Crawford. But then after that, 2-3, clearly to Crawford. 4 was debatable. I gave it to Crawford. 5 was a very big round from Canelo, where he actually that was probably his best round in the fight. He probably hurt him the most. And I remember thinking, I was watching the fight with someone, I told him, yeah, Canelo won that round, but, he really had to work hard to win that round. And this is round 5. I'm thinking, Canelo's got a problem. I think at that point, Crawford took a step back in that round. And then from that point on, Crawford kind of realized he's not as powerful as I thought he was. I could take his power. I don't have to be running away. I can box, but I can also trade. And he did that. I had him winning basically all the later rounds. I had it a pretty clear victory for Terence Crawford. I had it 9-3 type of thing. Maybe you could have had 8-4. I thought the judges' scorecards were too close. I don't think it was 115-113. 2 of the judges had that. The other one had a 116-112. I thought it was a 9-3 type fight. Maybe go 8-4-ish. I think 7-5 would be a stretch. I saw some people saying draw. No way, no how. This was a clear Terence Crawford win. He showed superior boxing ability, which I always knew he had. The real question was just the weight, and he showed he was strong at the weight. Crawford is a phenomenal fighter. I said beforehand that if Crawford won this fight, I would personally regard him as the greatest pound-for-pound fighter in history. I got to say it, and maybe I'm being biased because it's my era, but that's what I really believe. When you look at his accomplishments, 5-division champion, 3-time undisputed in the 4-belt era, really only was in one close fight, which was Madrimov last year. Really, that's it. Basically knocked out everyone at welterweight. He did knock out everyone at welterweight. Undisputed at 140. People said, oh, weak era, weak this, weak that. Well, he was still knocking out some good guys and beating Victor Postal, beat Ricky Burns, and now he beat an all-time great Canelo Alvarez, who never lost at super middleweight before. So let's just put this into context right now. We got a guy who never lost at super middleweight before, is the undisputed super middleweight champion. I understand he's past his prime, which I acknowledged earlier in the video, and I'll even concede that I don't think Crawford would be able to beat a prime Canelo Alvarez if it was at 68, like the one that beat, Callum Smith and Avni Yildirim and Billy Joe Saunders and Rocky Fielding, Caleb Plant. I'll concede that, but still, how is he even competitive with this guy is crazy because he's 2 weight classes lower. The guy is a freak. His power is great for his size, still carried up pretty well at 68. It wasn't like, he could just walk right through him, Canelo. Not that Canelo was at any risk of being stopped, but this wasn't like Arislani Lara, where I felt like Lara was winning the fight. This is back at 155 pounds. And Lara was just trying to limp to the finish line and make it out there with the W. Crawford was standing his ground in those later rounds, and he's like, nah, I don't think you could out-hurt me. He was catching him in the exchanges. His counter-punching is really sharp. Great ability to time and trade. Best I've ever seen at timing. He's a switch hitter, but this fight he went completely southpaw, and I thought that helped him. And I got to give Robert Garcia credit for putting this out in the post-fight I saw on Pro Box TV, where because he was southpaw, that made it very hard for Canelo to land that left hook to the body. If he would have been orthodox, his body would have been more open to him. So that's just good training by Bomac. I think his team is great. I think his strength and conditioning coach was great. I think his chin is a lot better than it gets credit for. I mean, he's never officially been dropped, and he only was dropped by Mean Machine. And I was at that fight, by the way. The only time I've ever seen Terence Crawford live. And I said that was a drop. I said that was not a slip. But the guy has a great chin. The guy has unbelievable speed, hand and feet. His timing is great. And he doesn't get credit for his ring IQ, man. The guy is unbelievable. And he's a physical freak, too. Strong as a bull for a guy his size. We're looking at greatness right now, front to back. And I may be biased because it's my era, but I think his accomplishments put him on the top of the mountain. So for me, he's the greatest of all time, pound for pound. Let me know what you think. But certainly he's in that conversation with the GOATs. Whoever you want to throw up in there, there's a bunch of people we could throw up in there. I think he's up there. You know, you look at Sugar Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong. Let's go chronologically order. Henry Armstrong, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roy Jones Jr., Floyd Mayweather Jr., Terence Crawford. And, you know, there's other people will throw up. Guys like, heavyweights, obviously, Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, of course, Usyk now. Guys who aren't heavyweights, but Sam Langford, Jack Johnson, Roberto Duran, Manny Pacquiao. I mean, there's just so many guys. You know, Manny Pacquiao is the only 8th division champion in boxing history. You know, what Duran did was nuts. Being a lightweight champion and being the middleweight champion. You know, Crawford now was the lightweight champion, and he's the super middleweight champion. But, you know, Duran's resume is insane. But the bottom line is he's up there. He's one of the all-time greats. Not just one of the all-time greats. He's a GOAT of GOATs. I would like to see him walk out on top. What more is there to say? What more is there to prove? Let me know what you guys think. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Peace.